Imagine buying a 2 million rand sports car and then pulling it around in a horse. Now, if somebody had to do that, we'd say this person is stupid, he's an idiot, right? Because this is not a cart, this is a sports car, it's got its own engine, it doesn't need the horse. Now, it might sound weird and crazy, but this is exactly what's happening in education. When we bring technology into education, we are bringing something that's state of the art, cutting edge, and we are trying to make it work in an environment that is antiquated, outdated, dead. The education system is dead. It's something that was developed 250, maybe 100 years ago for factory workers to teach them all known language, all known knowledge at the time, and it's remained the same. And there's a lot of conservatism in education. There are people who are comfortable with it because that's the way we've always done it. Our parents have always done it. Our grandparents, our great grandparents have always done it. So why change it? It's there. It's existing, right? And it's too scary to think about change. And then they bring technology as if it's something great they are doing. They bring technology into the classroom and they pat themselves on the back and say, see, we are a technological school. But you're putting the technology onto that rotten foundation of an antiquated curriculum. And then you wonder why it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you are using two things that are non-compatible with each other. That tablet PC is not a substitute for your boring, dusty textbook. It's something that has the ability to create a renaissance in education. But you don't know that. You don't know that because for you, the education system is perfect. Here's a story. I was talking to an eccentric genius, and this guy says, you know, when I was in matric, I never studied for my biology paper. I never went to classes. And on the night before, I studied the book all the way from night till morning, and then the next morning I went to school. I wrote the exam, and I got an A. But up till today, I don't understand a thing of what I learned in that paper, or what I wrote in that paper. It was just learn and regurgitate, learn, memorize, regurgitate, and the next day, delete everything the moment you are done. That's what our education system is all about. 12 years at school, now kids come out learning nothing, and I stand by that. But technology, let's come back to technology. What is technology capable of? Like I say, technology is capable of transforming learning. Let me explain. When you look at learning, what is the objective of learning? What is the flow? What is the process of learning? So there are four things that need to happen when anybody, whether it's a child or an adult, when a person learns. Firstly, obviously, there's learn, there's take in that information. Learn, process, integrate, practice. Learn, process, integrate, practice. What does this mean? It means you take in a bit of knowledge. Okay, you've got that knowledge. Now you process it. Now you start thinking about it. You start understanding. You start comprehending. If you still don't comprehend, go and ask questions. Ask your teacher, ask your friends, ask your parents, ask anybody, ask an expert until you understand that specific knowledge you are learning. Right. Once you understand that, now comes the integration phase. The integration phase is when you link the knowledge that you've just recently gained with knowledge you've learned in the past, from the same discipline and from other disciplines. So for example, if you learned about the volume of a pyramid in mathematics, okay, you understand this is how you calculate the volume of a pyramid. Now you can link that knowledge to history and archaeology and see, well, the pyramids in Egypt, the Great Pyramid in Giza is this high, and this is its measurement of its sides. Maybe I can calculate the volume of that pyramid. You see what I'm saying? And through the volume, perhaps you can calculate the mass of the pyramid. Now this is interdisciplinary thinking, when you link current knowledge with other knowledge that you've learned. And this is the way of the real world, by the way. It's not something that is alien. What is alien in the real world is this neat division of subjects. Here's mathematics, here's creativity and art, here's science, here's history. Here, it doesn't work like that in the real world. I mean, I made a separate video about this, right? When you look at your cell phone is a marvel of mathematics, engineering, science, materials, uh, creativity, design, user interface, empathy. It's all in one. That's how we work in the real world. That's how the real world operates. But in school, we create this separation. So that integration layer is, look, even the comprehension layer is not there. And you can challenge me on this, but I taught maths and physics all the way up to grade 12 level. And I taught at tertiary level too, and I've seen it. So there's none of that. And then finally, the last step of education is application, applying that knowledge into problem solving, applying that knowledge into the real world. None of that happens at school level. But there is hope, and I always say this, broken record. Here he goes again, coding. Teach your children, in fact, learn to code yourself. Parents, teachers, CEOs, professionals, if you want to unleash your creativity, problem solving skills, critical thinking, communication, learn to code. Coding is a multivitamin of amazing benefits. I've been saying this for years, probably for 2 decades. It's a multivitamin of benefits, of mental benefits for child and adult, but more especially for children. Why? Because when you are coding something, when you're coding an app, when you're coding a video game or a website, there's 2 aspects to it, right? Behind the scenes, there's the code that you write, the computer code. That's very logical, mathematical. But as you're creating that, you also have to have concurrently at the same time a view on what will this look like? What colors should I use? What colors will make it pop? What colors will make it beautiful? What colors work with each other? I mean, there are certain colors that just don't work with each other, right? Like blue text on a red background. That's horrible. That's like nauseating. So there's, and what will the user experience, the user interface, will users enjoy using this thing that I'm creating, or will it be something they dislike? So when a child is coding, so there's the logical mathematical aspect, and then there's the creative aspect put together, tightly integrated. There's no separating between the two. And that is real knowledge, because they learn and then they understand the process, and then they integrate, because they'll make a video game now, for example, of something happening in a science lab. The mad scientist is mixing chemicals together, or a vehicle driving on the road. So there's disciplines that are coming in there. And finally, there's the application part, because coding is all about application. You can't just watch a coding video and by heart some code and go and regurgitate it in the exam. It's not like that. You can't do that. So you learn code by coding. Teach your kids to code. Teach your kids to think. Teach your kids to integrate, and teach them to code, because that's the easy way to do it. And if you want to learn how, I'm happy to say that we've relaunched our brand, CompuKids, which is especially for primary school kids. And for the time being, it's free. So go to compukids.org and try it out. It's holiday time. Get your kids going with it. Get your kids learning. Get your kids coding. Don't let them waste their time doom scrolling on their devices. Get them coding, because when they are doom scrolling, it's the computer, it's the device that's programming them. But when they are coding, they are programming the computer. Coding is amazing. Give your kids that advantage.